Well, hello there. My name is Andrea. This is Journals for Breakfast. You are so welcome here. And today we are going to deep dive into my Hobonichi Techo cousin of Vec. I'm in love. I've talked a little bit about this planner here in the last 6 months. I started with this planner system in January, I think, of 2025. It is a new to me system. I've never tried Hobonichis before this year. And the cousin is what I see a lot of the podcasters that I follow using and really loving. And the cousin of Vec is just the cousin, which is a 12-month planner split in half. So I went January to July, January through June, and now I'm going to go July through December. And the reason I went for the split book is because I make a planner really chunky by the time it's all said and done. This is the 6-monther now compared to how I started. So you can see if I had done a 12-monther, right, I would have basically, I don't know what, a Webster dictionary size book carrying around with me by the end of the year. So I'm really glad that I split it out. We're gonna do an overhead while I talk a little bit about this love story. How I came to fall so in love with this planner. If you are a user of a Hobonichi and are just looking to see some different ways that people put entries in and etc., stick around. We're gonna run through my last 6 months with some overhead of how I use the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. And that has morphed over time, and it's kind of found its groove now, but you'll see there's some play with it as I'm trying to learn this system and figure out what's working for me. If you are on the fence about a Hobonichi, you're debating it, this might be helpful just to sort of show you what it looks like inside and ways that I've been able to use it for both planning purposes and also for some creative outlet and definitely for some journaling. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna say this about this Hobonichi. I feel like this is what happens with really good design. It's very unassuming. Just this little book sitting on a shelf at a bookstore as a planner, I probably would have walked past it 100 times. I knew from podcasters that there was an attraction to it. They were really attracted to it for some reason, so I decided to give it a try. Let me tell you what, this little unassuming book, the thing is that it is set up in such a great way to give you so much flexibility. Are you looking at a monthly overview? Do you want a weekly to-do list? Do you want a daily to-do list? Do you want a weekly to-do list with daily journaling options, daily art options? You know, it's so flexible. So you'll see in mine that there's a lot of different ways that I've tried, you know, to formulate it out. And the fact that it gives me the room to do that tells me how beautifully designed it is. And that they did it in this A5 that's, you know, a ½ an inch thick. Incredible. Now, granted, it grows much bigger than that if you're me and keep gluing things into it. But I am just so impressed with this company and with this design. So if you are also a Hobonichi lover, you may just enjoy watching somebody using something that you love too. There's no question this is my desert island journal / planner. If I have to take one out of my stack of everything that I do, this one's going with me because it can check all the boxes for me. It can keep me on track. It can keep me going with to-do lists. It can show me what's happening for the month, but it also can be a creative outlet for me too. And I am just so thrilled with that. I originally invested in a cover from Hobonichi, and I'll show you that one. It was inexpensive, and when I did my initial order with them for the planner and probably some inserts and stuff, I grabbed that cover. But because I knew that I have fallen deep in love with this tool and will absolutely continue this at least through the next year, probably for a long time, I went ahead and invested in a really beautiful leather cover for it. This is from Windrose Custom Goods, and if this looks remotely familiar to you, if you've been here before, it's because it's the A5 version of the same cover that I got from them, from Windrose Custom Goods, for my traveler's passport size, my little pocket brain, such as I call it, my go with me everything. I've done a lot of videos here on this channel deep diving into him, and we'll probably look at him again today. But this style cover system is the one that has the rubber bands, and you snap your inserts into these bands. And I really love the flexibility that that gives me. It gives me so much room to add more stuff. I can change things out, put in notebooks that I'm loving, and then when they're fading out, just pop them back out and try something else. I could add other planner pages to this. There are inserts that work like wallets. So if I just wanted to carry just this, I could get one of those inserts and have cards and all kinds of stuff in it. They're a really handy, functional tool. They're not inexpensive. This one I got done with an extra band. I think they usually come with 3, and I asked her for an extra. I also got an extra 1 inch of material. This is an A5, but it's 1 inch wider this way because I'm gonna expand this bad boy out, as we all know, as I do. Windrose Custom Goods has given you guys a coupon code. She gave me the same discount, which was amazingly generous. It's 30% off of any order, 1 item, your total items, whatever. I'm gonna put the link to that coupon code in the description. I am not affiliated. There's no kickbacks for me if you buy something from them. It's just a really generous code, and I took advantage of it too. And I'm really super happy that she's offering that for you guys. I think it's good through like the middle of August. So if you want to take a peek at that. But I was ready to invest in something really long-term, cover / organizational wise for this, because I'm not going anywhere. This thing is staying with me. I'm really happy with this system. So stick around. Let's do some overhead. I hope you guys are well, by the way. PS, you know, it's coming back. It's coming back, and I'm glad you're back. And so let's take a look at the overhead and see what this hot mess Hobonichi has looked like and evolved into over the last 6 months. And let's get the new one set up and see what this new system looks like. And I hope you just find something delicious to drink, sit back, and let's just enjoy some time together. Thanks for being here. Okay, here we are with some overhead. We're going to get rid of this plastic cover ASAP because it puts a glare on things and we don't need it. It's going away. So I'm going to take this apart so you can kind of see how he was ever pieced together to begin with. And so let's just pull them apart piece by piece. First is an added on pin loop. One of the downsides of this particular cover that I ordered from Hobonichi, the actual cover is here, is that the pin loop with this was fabric. It doesn't stretch at all. And what I discovered is it was either way too small or way too big. There were a couple other things I tried to put in here, like even just clipping this pencil on, which I often do. I often find this floating at the bottom of my bag at the end of the day. So that cloth loop was not my fave, but I bought these just clip-on pin loops and have attached them to all kinds of stuff. So I bought like a 4-pack of them, I think on Amazon. So that's what that is. Okay, all this junk that just fell out here I keep in the front. I have been really playing with mini collages lately. These are paint chips. Hold on. Oh no, now I'm reaching. I have a stack of them here. See these paint chips? I just picked these up when I'm at the hardware store. And so sometimes I put 2 back to back, but you can see I've torn a lot up. Like that would be a pretty combo, spice cider and indigo batik. So I glue those together and then do a little mini collage on them. And they've become, I don't know, bookmarks. This one I just wrote a pretty saying on and just tucked it into the pocket of this, and I just like looking at it. You know what? I have one in here too. I have a few of them in here. This one. So I just made a pretty little collage, but then the other side is completely different with another saying. And then I just poke it in here on whichever side is appealing to me on that day. They've been really fun. I'll show you some more. I've got more mini collages in there. I've just been having fun with that. Let's get back to this Hobonichi. All right. So in this pocket is a little mini collage. Breathe in this day, breathe out the worry. Whoosh, 2023. I've told you guys this before. There was a flood at my house, and I don't know what it was about that trauma, but it triggered some hardcore, I guess, imposter syndrome was one of the side effects of that time. And I would put these cards in my pocket of my chef jacket when I was going to work. And this was one that I carried with me a lot. This pretty little card, I ordered something, who knows what, from Sandy by the Lakeside, and she slipped these in. They were just blank cards with the little chocolate chip cookies and milk. And I love them. I've written so many little keep my head on straight notes to myself, and then I just keep that with me. This is a Japan, that's a sticker. This is a Japan railway map. I think this is about manifesting travel. I would love to attempt to get to Japan, and I have a girlfriend who's offered to go with me, who's been many times. She'd be a good tour guide. I just have to decide if I want to commit to that. In this cover, I put another notebook, and I showed you guys this in another video. This was just an inexpensive, it came in a 3-pack. And this artist did a whole series where he featured Mount Fuji in the background every time, because Mount Fuji was supposed to represent rising up from trouble, conquering fears, all kinds of really powerful messaging that just has to do with why Mount Fiji was in the background. Fuji? Yeah, Mount Fuji. Fiji is an island. Fuji is a mountain. Anyway. And then the blue wave, I think I told you guys about that. We'll take a look at my carry-all maybe later, and I'll show you the scarf that's on that ties into that. So the artwork for this has some personal meaning for me. And this was just an inexpensive little notebook that I just slid in there where I can just keep some quotes and some thoughts, some checklists, some goals. It's just a little scribble pad. I've enjoyed that. Now we're getting down to the actual planner. Is there anything else tucked in here? I don't think so. So now we're getting into the actual planner. And what I have here is 2 covers. So I am going to pop this out of here and then show you something. We'll get back to him in a minute. So this is a clear cover that one of the viewers here told me about, because the cover that I ordered from Hobonichi is fabric. And you can see that in a very short amount of time, like in the first week that I had it, this dirt was starting to show up on the fabric, and that was going to make me crazy. And I mentioned it in a video here, and a viewer told me about the covers for covers, which are just clear covers. So that's what I had, was this clear cover. But I then found some artwork on Etsy, easily distracted by dogs and books. I just thought that was so cute. And so I slipped it in to just change up the cover at about the 3-month mark, just for a different view. I love this so much. I'm actually going to put this in a small frame, and I'm going to put it in the powder room in the hallway. I love it. And then this one, I don't know that I got real clear with you guys that I told you about the stag sort of situation that happened this year. I had we talk about animals that appear in nature, and looking up animals that show up daily for you, whether it be through a tarot card reading, the animal that was represented on that card, or if you actually see an animal in nature. This is a woo-woo out there story, but I was out in our very back marsh of our neighborhood here. It's really deserted back there. I'll put a couple photos in so you can see the space. And I was back there 2 days after my mom passed away in February, and there was a cloud formation that I am telling you was an exact shape of a horned stag. It was incredible. I didn't take photos even though I had my camera with me, because it just was one of those moments that I felt like I needed to imprint into my mind and not get digital in that moment. I'm happy to talk more about that, but ultimately at the end of the day, it caused me to look up deer and stag as animal spirit guides, what that might mean. And then while I was shopping around on Etsy and found this pretty poster, this one showed up too, and so I snagged it and put that in there. You're gonna see throughout, if you keep paying attention to me here, you're gonna see scribbles of stags here and there, and that's what spawned that. Spawned? Ugh. Okay, so we're gonna pop him out, and then I'll show you what this cover actually looked like. So it was just a clear cover from Hobonichi. it's a cover and it just protects your cover. And it does have a zip lock back here that opens, and it gives you access to the pocket that's on your actual Hobonichi. So it's pretty cool. It's well designed. I don't need this right now, so away he goes. This was the original cover that I got, and the reason I ordered this one is because I felt like this artwork looked a bit like a collage, and I love collage so much, so it just sort of spoke to me. It has a simple pocket in the back. There isn't any grass without a name. Little, you know, one thing about Hobonichi is everything is just such high quality, and so even that they put this little quote right into pocket there, that's just so cool. The dirt on here was going to be problematic for me, and I knew that it was, so there's that. I love this cover though, and basically the Hobonichi Techo Cousin Avec is an A5 notebook. So I will probably just find another A5 to slip into this and use this for something else. Something that doesn't get as much travel time, so it's not getting beaten up so much. And then we'll pop the actual Hobonichi out of here. And oh my gosh, that's fun to see how fat this got. Oh, come on, honey. Let's see. He's stuck back here. Pardon, one moment. I made the beads to go at the bottom. So that was fun. I just used polymer clay and made the beads. So let's find the other one of those. It's in here. And release him. So that, and here's the other. This is kind of a round bead. Those are really fun to make. All right, now we can release the hounds. Okay, so here he is released, and this was the January through June, and this is how he chunked out compared to how he came. Pretty cool, huh? So we'll take a look at that. And then here's this pretty cover, and you can see, like, it really is pretty. I love the cream color linen, but gosh, it just is so, there's such a propensity for it to get dirty, and I take this thing everywhere I go, and so it's on cafe tables and work tables, and my table's back here in my lap on my couch. So I need something that isn't quite, doesn't require such kid gloves to handle. So we're gonna set him aside. These are pencil boards. I ordered this pencil board from Hobonichi, so I'll continue to use that one. I just thought it was, you know, it's catching ink and things like that. I love that if there's any bleed through. So we'll definitely continue to use that in here. This is actually a schedule of infusions from cancer centers. So I just need to have those nearby. There's that. This is a pencil board that I made out of some cardstock. And when I tell you that I saw that stag formation in the clouds, this is a pretty good representative of the size. I'm not kidding. It was gigantic. It was the size of a 18-wheeler up in the sky over my head, forming a perfect stag. Anyway, that was really interesting. So I looked up the symbolism of stags and deers, etc. And one of the things was that antlers are symbols of antenna, connection to higher forms of attunement. They are a signal to pay attention to your inner thoughts and perceptions. There was a lot of really cool stuff about that. And then I just did a collage on the other side, which is fun to look at, but for a pencil board, it's not great because there is texture here. There's some ridges and stuff, so it'll mess up your writing, but this side is nice and smooth. So pencil boards. Let's take a look at the interior cover. We did this together here in a video. So faith was my word of 2025, and it's still serving me well. I've had to have a lot of faith this year, as I did last year, and I'm loving it. This is just a little Polaroid of Echo. That's that back marsh that I'm talking about. Like, it is such deserted territory back there, and that stag was essentially this big in the sky. It was just huge. But I'll show you. I think I put some photos in here already of that for you. Okay. On the inside cover, I did another collage. A true luxury is the ability to think clearly, sleep deeply, move slowly, and live quietly in a world designed to prevent all four. I've used that quote in some of my journaling workshops as well. Faith 25. Normalize silence, find daily peace, do you. So I love these stickers of these just like super, I don't know, aren't they just so fashionable gals? I love those. This came from Chapteries Art, but I have also found these from some other Etsy sellers. So you can look around. This little gardening gal came from the Washi Tape Shop. So some collage. Here's the big spread of 2025, last year and next year, which is pretty cool if you need to refer back to it. For whatever reason, I haven't. I haven't needed these pages at all. Dropped in some key birthdays. This is just the month and 1 through 31, 1 through 28 for February, 1 through 31, right? And you can just write down key dates in there. I hope to do better about that in the next one. But you see, I did pretty well. I got a few birthdays at least listed in there, so I don't forget people's special days. And then here's the monthly. And I've shared with you guys this before, that my monthly, I keep really clean. For somebody who loves this, right? And this is kind of surprising, but it's the only thing that I keep clean. And I learned to do this when burnout took over. I had to keep a really clear, really clean monthly. And one of my tricks in my burnout days was to limit my scheduling considerably. And so I can keep this clean because generally speaking in my life, there is one important thing per day. I don't stack. Now I'm active and engaged in the world from the minute my feet hit the floor. There's no question about that. But as far as actual things to do, like teach a class or go to a doctor's appointment or meet a friend for lunch, those 3 things don't happen on the same day. Often I'll try not to have them happen 3 days in a row. I'll put a break between them. I want one main event, the main event, per day. That's kind of how I go. So because of that, I can put that one main event, the thing that is going to require most of my time, require that I dress in a certain way, require that I plan for travel time, right? That one thing require that I, have babysitting for my dog, whatever it is, that's what goes here. So the class was cinnamon roll bread. Then we had book club on Sunday. These are typically my day off and a prep day, dropping my dog to the groomer and then teaching a class again. 2 days for setup, a big open house, went to the Nutcracker with a friend. You get the concept of what's happening here. One item per day. I did start trying to throw a few little fun stickers in here, and you'll see it just doesn't take. I just don't stick with it. I like this to be my just blank overview. I have an absolute repeat of him in my, what month are we on there? January. In my little travel guy, I do the same thing. Just the one main event per day is with me when I am out and about. So if I don't have this big guy with me and my dentist wants to know when the next appointment is, I can at least glance at this and know what's happening. Yeah, so you'll see this is just super clean, super simple. I do this in pencil so that if something cancels, I can erase it and open that space up. What I don't want is this in ink, then this cancels and I put a big C through it or run lines through it, because now I have an open window. And if I want to pencil something else into that, then I could. So I do this in pencil. I get mad at myself when I throw ink in here. I will always come back and scold myself for that. I tried a few little stickers in March. It's kind of pretty, sort of just decorating the pages, but it's so not necessary. And you can see April was a busy month. It fills in quite a bit more, and boy, did I pay for it. March was really busy too, or May was really busy too, is what I'm trying to say. I ended up crashing really hard the early part of June, and now I'm kind of realizing why. For me, that's a lot of pencil in there. Yeesh. June has been full. There's been a lot going on, and I crash out pretty hardcore right here. Holy Recover Day, I wrote right there. I slept for off and on 6 or 7 times throughout that day. Man, I just have to really watch it. I just can't overdo it. This is today, and I have lunch with a friend soon, so I'm gonna have to bail out and come back and record a little bit later. July is looking lighter, which is good. I have classes these days, so there'll be prep on these days. But anyway, there it is. Then it moves into your weekly spread. This is the very first week that I ever did in here. It takes us from New Year's Eve to the 5th of January. And these little stickers I've shown you, a friend sent me those, and holy cow, are they the cutest thing I've ever seen. So in this, I was doing kind of to-do lists in the beginning. So bed, laundry, vac, bubble bath, rest, clothes, laundry. Here's what's for dinner. I don't know, little collage work in here, set up journals, write journal handout. So this was getting very to-do list oriented for me in the beginning. And that's fine. That's just how I used it to start. But as we move through these weeks, you'll see, and I do like to put stickers and stuff on the weeks. I think that's kind of fun. I feel like I've kept up with that overall. There's another one of those girls drinking a slushie. Lots of to-dos, lots of pretty stickers. This is February. I've been trying to sort of track dinner. I am not great at meal planning. I know that's insane because I am a professional cook and teach cooking classes, but I feel like when we retire at the end of July, that's going to change. I might be able to get myself onto a meal plan sort of setup. Meanwhile, what I do is just if I'm eating dinner tonight, I will try to jot down a couple ideas for the next couple nights. You know, I just sort of the next day or two ahead is the best I can do. I joined the gym on March 12th. This is March. It's been going great. I can talk about that if you'd ever like to. Did a couple little sketches in this one. But this is starting to I'm still doing kind of to-do lists, but more this is about kind of a bigger view of what I'm actually doing that week. That's a hot mess. Wow. Then I started doing these kind of colored bubbles. I liked that. That was fun. And I stuck with that for a little while. And then I did just bubbles of what the bubble is where I'm going, right? Like I said, if I need to actually do something, teach sourdough, be somewhere, work out at gym. Okay. And then these are just kind of thoughts of maybe to-dos, that sort of thing. There's the colored bubbles again. Filthy. Just what a mess. And then it's kind of starting to settle out a little bit in April, May. And you'll see from here on, I think I've got a pretty clean grip on it. I do like the little bubbles just telling me what's the main thing that I need to do. Go to the gym, therapy, prep day. Our tree guy was coming at 3. We were teaching an Italian lunch. Like these are must-dos. These are could-dos if they're not circled and colored in. Gym, teach focaccia. The rest, if you have time, you're doing it. You can tell that week I was so busy in May. I didn't even get any stickers or artwork on there. This is a pretty fun one. I put food all over it. Again, just kind of, this was me trying to draw salad. That did not go very well. Salad, oil and vinegar. What's that? Parmesan or pepper? That's a wedge of cheese. This was supposed to be a cucumber that didn't work out. These are tomatoes that did work out. I love these stickers. This is where it's starting. Now we're into June. You're starting to see a pretty consistent lineup here. This is my birthday, so I just drew some sketches of what we did. We went and got my favorite coffee. We shopped. We went to my favorite bakery. Let's see. That's a chicken wing, don't you know? And sushi roll. Ha. And then we watched movies at home. It was nice. I love these little watercolor tapes from the washi tape shop. And now you're starting to see, this is this week. Lunch with Karen is today. I'm checking the time once again. So yeah, I'm liking this sort of system here. I'll probably put a few little light stickers in there and just keep that going. At the beginning of the year, there was this sort of blank area, and I just used it to glue some stuff in and see how the paper held up, what I was liking. I like to feel how ink feels on different paper, and I'd never used this paper before. So this is not really a collage. This is sort of test land, I would say, is what that is. At the beginning of every month, they give you this blank page. I have to be honest with y'all, I still haven't found a great use for it. And the reason I'm saying that is because I never refer back to it. So like I might write in all this great stuff, but then I never look at it again. So I don't know. I'll show you as we move along what I do with those. Then here are the dailies. These are going to morph as we go through. I was really into a system where I did this. I used a stencil to create this main 3 things checklist. So first thing in the morning is simple abundance, maybe knit for a few minutes and take a walk. And then I needed to run to Five Below Walmart and go up to the studio. And then I needed to go to a meeting, write a class, and then do some resting and reading in the afternoon. Can I check all those 9 boxes? So I was kind of using this as that. And then a little note about the day. Great day, very productive, full day after a full week. Wins were that I got enough water, food, nutrition, and balance in. Reminders, watch out for the extras, i.e. coffee meetups and deadlines. I was probably starting to feel a little bit of pressure in there. Trying a few stickers, trying a few different inks, see how the inks are changing. I'm also trying to learn what I want to do with these captions up here at the start of the week, of the day, excuse me, at the top of the day. I start here lettering in the actual day of the week. In this one, I put in day of the week stickers that are obviously too small for this space. I tried a little watercolor. Pretty impressive that it doesn't bleed through. I tried a little collage, which I will continue to do. Here's me just trying to create those captions at the top of the page, a little collage work down here. Now we'll just go through a little bit and take a look. Look at her frying eggs in her pajamas. That's so cute. I was trying to teach myself how to do cool writing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to do it. It gets better as I go. So slow morning, cloudy mind, headache, probably a hangover from eating some candy yesterday. And that was weird. Like, what made me want to go for that? So some notes about nutrition, how I'm feeling. So it's kind of journally in that sense as well. Here come these boxes again. I'm trying that out. Little collage up here. And then the day. I didn't love that. It's too busy even for me. Spilled some nice ink there. That's a pretty little collage though, isn't it? On that Sunday. Can you see that? I like that. Pretty stickers down here from Chapteries Art is where I got those. And washi tapes, different colors. This is the deep winter here. It's actually really cold. And so maybe that's why I threw all that color in there. Just some fun for that. So yeah, I'm just trying different styles, trying different pens to feel about how the ink works. I love how this pen feels. I've shown you this before. I love how this pen feels on this paper, but I don't like the ink when it comes out. At the end, I don't like reading my stuff in brown. Weird, I know. Glued in a little watercolor. That was a pretty little sticker there. I do love just adding these little bonuses, don't you? It just makes the experience so fun to just flip through and see some pretty things in your day-to-day. I do these, by the way, these pages I typically do in the evening while we're watching baseball on the couch. So I'm with my husband and we're watching a show or baseball or something that I can kind of keep one eye on that and one eye on this. And that's when I'll get out my highlighters and write in tomorrow, right? Like I've already filled in today, and then I'll get Saturday set up while I'm sitting there Friday night. So I just kind of do the next day or the next 2 days headers and stickers, kind of artwork, and then I fill in the following day when I'm on that day. Does that make sense? I think it does. Pencil in here, it looks good, but it's tricky to write with. It can tear through this paper if it's too sharp. That's some pretty stickers there. So all this kind of stuff, this is what I'm goofing around with on the couch at night. Like just keeping my hands busy, a little something to do, some pretty things. Like I said, you're going to start to see sketches of stags all over the place starting in February, because that happens 2 days after my mom dies. And so that image keeps just burning into my brain at that point. So they keep popping up everywhere. Let's see. Just pretty. I love adding a little glitter here and there. You got to have a little bling in your life now and then. Look at this fun sticker. She's got a book on her face. So cute. So yeah, in the evenings, I just sit down and kind of, this was a nice big collage. I would have done this here at this desk one morning, just filling in some time. I don't do a lot of collage work out on the couch because it requires tearing and paper and glue and that kind of stuff. But like the lettering, some simple stickers, that stuff I can do out while we're watching TV. So like, here's that March overview. Look at all the boxes I created for checklists, and then I never went back. I never flipped back to this page. So maybe that will change in the next 6 months. I'll do better at figuring that out. Let's move through to a little bit closer to what we're doing now. Where are we? Here's May. So I just wrote myself a couple notes at the beginning of May. I didn't create any checklists because I understood by then you're not coming back to this. You're never going to look at this again. I started doing these in May. I showed you in the last one where I'll put like a little box sticker and then write the day across it. Those were kind of fun. I enjoyed that. And I had just gotten these in from an Etsy seller, these cool stickers. And I used these a lot in this planner at that point. I really love the look of those guys kind of hanging out down there. And then I started creating this little bubble, bloop, 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 bloop. And sometimes it's a note to myself to ease into the day, slow it down a little bit. Sometimes it's a collection of quick to-dos in the morning, but I'm liking the little bubbles. You're going to see that. They're going to continue to appear. See the bubbles start to show up? I'll keep going with that for a while. Also, by the way, when I do a 2-day spread like this, I did this I'm sure I did this sitting on the couch on Tuesday. I filled in my Tuesday stuff and then got this piece together for Wednesday, Thursday. So the bubble, the day, the stickers. Then tomorrow on Wednesday, I'll fill in what was happening here. Same thing on Thursday. So yeah, or if I realize on Wednesday some to-dos I want to do on Thursday, that's what goes in that bubble there. Fun. And then these were such pretty stickers, these watercolor gals. I don't think much else changes. It's all staying pretty much the same, except to say that what's happening now is I'm getting a groove. Like, I'm really feeling it. That's that front page of June that I told you I know I'm not going to refer back to. So I just made it pretty. That's it. Bubble, bubble, bubble. I'm loving this. Look at this. So it's actually Thursday. I went to go do the lettering on this page, and for some reason had it in my head it was Sunday. So I did this big S, and then I was like, oh, no, it's Thursday. So that's what I converted that to. Friday, Saturday. I love these. I started doing these little mini collage in the corners. I was doing these little collages in the mornings here at my desk. I just went through a little kick of those, and I loved them. Just torn paper and stickers and washi. I do love the process of a little collage. It's my 54th birthday. It was on June 10th. Little collage work in here. And yeah, I will say now in June, I'm loving every page. Like up to there, it was kind of hit or miss. But now in June, I am truly loving every single page. See that deer keeps showing up so much. I feel like I've gotten my groove. I understand what I'm doing. I understand why I'm doing it. So I just change out the color scheme based on what feels good to me. And that's it. This really catches us up to right now. This was yesterday. So there we go. There's that flip through. I never really figured out what to do with the back pages in here. I think I had an idea that I was going to put some cool quotes in, which, yeah, it says affirmations. I got 3 of them in and forgot what I was doing. I glued a watercolor back here for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, I did a tarot reading in March that was really cool. So that's there. I might tear that page out and put it in my tarot book. I did some ink test pages back here, just trying a bunch of different ink. We worked on that together. I never understood this one, the timetable. I figured I would just collage over these pages that I couldn't quite figure out what to do with. And the truth is, I just ran out of time. I just never got it done. So that's okay. There it is. All of this is in Japanese, so I have no idea what any of it means. I think it's restaurants. It's recommending restaurants in Japan. This cool thing, this piece of paper I ordered from Dandelion Diaries. I'm going to use an X-Acto and cut that out so I can take it with me. And then this gal doing a swan dive into her coffee pretty much sums up everything about me. So I'll take that with me too. This is a hawk's feather. I'll take this little piece with me as well. And it's got my Gemini Tarot sticker on the back, also from Dandelion Diaries. So these little chunks here, I'll just pull this out and take these with me to the next one. So there's the overview of that. Now we get to move into this. And so we're going to move this guy into this and see what kind of fun and inserts we want to create. And then ultimately I'll need to get some artwork done on this cover. So let's make that part 2. Okay. Okay, so here we are with what I'm moving into, what I'm moving out of, a couple of pencil boards, which I'm going to need, and I'll show you why. A notebook, all the little scripts and scraps that were in my other cover. And I am going to cannibalize some pieces. Oh, I was thinking they were in the cover. I'm going to snag a few things off of here, like some markers too. So let's take a look at this cover. This is from Windrose Custom Goods. They have their embossed right there, Windrose Custom Goods. I did have it monogrammed, and I went J4B, Journals for Breakfast. I have a lot of stuff that's monogrammed with my actual initials, and so I just thought that would be kind of fun. And what I asked for this, when you go to order these from them, you will see there's different setups. This is an A5, excuse me, plus an extra inch, 1 inch extra length or width, however you want to describe that. I picked the interior that they had options for. So there can be no flaps, there can be pocket flaps, there can be pocket flaps with card holders. You kind of decide. Pin loop, which I wanted. So that's what I went with. This is my passport size, also Windrose Custom Goods. And you can see that I have put a lot in here using that elastic band system. So those are elastic bands, and they're holding all of these inserts. This one I have the same pocket flap in the back, and then the card holder plus pocket flap in the front. So very clearly I knew kind of what I used and what I wanted with that. And yeah, you can see this leather. I actually chose a slightly darker leather this time than I did last time, but this very much patinas to this in time. I assume this will then patina to darker itself too. So I wanted them kind of cousins, not sisters, right? Like close, but they didn't need to be identical. This will soften up greatly with time, and I've already been just kind of messing with it. I just sort of pull it out and rub it and whatever, especially if I put hand lotion on, I'll immediately get a hold of it and just start working it and get this thing sort of broken in. But it's already very tender leather. It doesn't come in super stiff. What I love are these beautiful brass finishing here, that gold. I think it's just so pretty. And then the stitching across here is gorgeous. Yeah, they're just beautiful systems. And I think they normally come with maybe 3 bands, and I asked for 4 or something like that. But you can message Becca if you do an order with her, or if you have questions about her stuff, and she'll respond to you. Let her know what you're trying to do, what you're wanting to set up, what size, and she can guide you in the right direction there. This one I've had since 2022, I think is correct. And this one is brand new. So the first simple thing is I will put my little travel manifestation card in here for the moment. I'm probably going to find a clear insert to go in here. So this will evolve over time. And I'm going to turn my computer off so it's not updating like that audibly on us. Let's turn that off and see if we can keep that quiet. Stick this little card in here if I need them or need to refer back to them. But this is that little idea of just a little collage in there. This guy is my just sort of jot down thoughts, quotes, etc. that's happening in the world. I'm just going to slide him in. This is setup day 1. I just got this in the mail I think 3 days ago. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. So I've never figured out where anything's going to go. We're doing it together, and over time we'll see how this evolves. This is our actual planner. So we'll stick him in here. There he is. Perfect. I have fantasies about what will go in these. This little insert here, I ordered from an Etsy shop, and I will try to link her. Let's see. This is one. It's this craft paper little guy. I wouldn't mind trying to find the A5 version of that. Then there's this navy blue. This is paper, but it's a really heavy duty paper. She did not have that in the A5. I did look. So I actually ordered from her a leather in the A5. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a really thin leather. It might even be vegan leather. I'll see when it comes in. And it's basically a pocketed insert that I'm going to throw onto this loop here. So when that comes, we'll do that. And then see these cool things, these little clear wallets. I really like these. This is one piece. This is the back side of it, and this is the front side of it. So I might look for an A5 version of that from Hobonichi Company when I go to reorder my next year's planner. It's not something I need right away, but I could see that taking up this other loop here. A nice plastic insert that has a big pocket for stickers and who knows what. And then maybe a place for like cards and other stuff. So yeah, we're going to play with that as time goes by. It's sort of the joy of this is filling these in, moving them around. But this particular planner cover had these beautiful ribbons, and I could throw one at the monthly and one at the weekly. And then I always had a pencil board on my daily, so I knew where I was. I do not have that option here. There's no ribbons, so I'm going to use the pencil boards to tell me where I am. So these are the monthlies here. Here's June. So I will throw pencil board number 1 there. So we just know where June is. And then the current weekly is what I'm looking for. Let's see. I've gone past it already. Go. There's January monthly. There's June, July. Okay. Now I lost my pencil board. So I'll stick this guy in here, but I'm also going to put these tab markers. I'm going to steal these from this other planner, and that is this guy here. So these are those really thin brass tab pager deal-a-majiggies. And what I think I'll do is maybe flag this page as the beginning of the monthlies, so I kind of can see that that's those. Here's July. Here's next week. And then our dailies are going to begin right here. There's July. So here's the dailies. So I will do something to flag this page down. I do have more of those tabs, but for the moment, I'm going to put something a little more substantial on there just to keep it where I know where it is. Stick this little clip there for this moment in time, just so I can get there quickly. And then tonight what I'm going to do is play with this a little bit. Once I get a couple of days of artwork in here, this will weigh more. And I might do a collage over here, and that will give some weight to this. I have a little painting I did this week. Maybe I'll clip him in just for a little bit of weight. I'll do that because this is too heavy for this paper. Give him something to cling to, you know what I'm saying? And so I can come in and do a little bit of artwork, do a little bit of collage work, make this pretty, and then also sturdy. And then that way I'll be able to find it easily. And I can start getting next week penciled in here. So yeah, that's the plan with that. And close it all up, bring this around, and there is the new cover for the next 6 months of the Hobonichi. And I'm really, really excited about that. I am pretty hard on covers, and this leather doesn't seem to mind that. I put stickers on it. It doesn't mind. You know, I had stickers back here. See, it was kind of faded out slowly but surely. That's patinaing, just like the rest of it did. Patinaing, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, and then also this is a leather pin loop, so it's not going to be adjustable. What I'll do is just wrap a little bit of washi tape around the pin to get it to the thickness I need it to be to sit comfortably in that pin loop. And I'll do the same here if needed. What I've been using is this Pilot. Oh, that fits pretty well in there, actually. Oh, well, you see, that fits beautifully. So that's fine. I do like to keep a pencil around my books, but as I said, to be honest with you, this pencil that I like so much, this mechanical pencil I've shown y'all before, it's so sharp that it actually has torn this paper before. So it isn't perfect for this. So I typically find myself doing something like this and just nestling it in there and keeping it with my little pocket brain, but not worrying about it so much for this. The only thing I really do in pencil in here, as I said, is my monthly overview. That I do in pencil so that as stuff gets changed or whatever, I can erase it and move on. So I'll fill in the July. Jeez, what month is it? July, Andrea. July's already sort of slightly penciled in. I've got a few things that need to fill in here. Yeah, so that's the base. Now, in the case of this cousin, I did not decorate this cover because it was slid into this cover, right? It's different style, so you couldn't see this. In this case, the cover is exposed, so I will very likely do some collage work on that. In this case, I just did the inside, right? So yeah, I will probably pull this out and do some kind of collage on that. I would like to find this version of sketch pad, these inexpensive little pads I've shown y'all many times, in an A5 size. That could be something that takes over this, or using a larger rubber band, I could connect the two together when this is the right size. So that's a possibility as well. I love this paper. I've shown y'all this many times because you can use pen and ink on it, but you can also do collage work on it. It'll glue sticks to it nicely, but also you could just paint on it. So I love to have these around, but these are too small for this book. They're perfect for this, but I have discovered that I really don't do a lot of artwork in this. I might throw one back in there for sketch purposes. I've been doing more sketching lately. I'll find an A5 sketch version to go in here. That'll be a fun thing to look for. And how else it fills out, who knows? I may carry on with this kind of, yeah, just notes and thoughts. It's its own sort of journal, isn't it? This is not really like a formal journal, Dear Diary. This is what, it's just rando thoughts, things that come to me. So there it is. I'm really happy with that. And again, discount code in the description, 30% off any purchase, any number of purchases. So I think that's a really cool, generous offer for you guys. So there's that. Let's go back to face and wind it up. Okay, so we've had a little wardrobe change. I had to go walk my dog, and it is 1 million degrees today. Normally we do a tarot reading at the end of one of these episodes, but I'm going to read a quote from you this week instead. This is a quote that I put into my little pocket brain. The quote is from Elizabeth Ross. The quote is, "Learn to get in touch with the silence within yourself and know that everything in life has a purpose. There are no mistakes, no coincidences. All events are blessings given to us to learn from." That's beautiful. The first part of this, learn to get in touch with the silence within yourself. We've talked about this so many times here. The world that we live in is fighting hard to make sure that we cannot find the silence within ourselves. The world that we live in wants us overstimulated and constantly distracted. An overstimulated and distracted mind will spend more money, tons more money. An overstimulated and distracted mind will think that it needs things that it doesn't, and will stop paying attention to the real core needs that are things that nobody can profit from, like a walk, fresh air, sunshine, sitting on your front steps and just letting the morning sun kind of blend in with your thoughts, warm you up if it's chilly inside, sit in the shade if it's hot outside, finding the silence within ourselves. So first thing in the morning, I have coffee, I bring it to this room, and I sit down and I read Simple Abundance, and I write down quotes from that. I look at some collage stuff and some painting things, but there's no noise. There's no noise. So not only is there silence within me, there's silence in my space. We've talked a lot about that here. What I don't do is pick up the phone, and what I don't do is allow reels or videos or noise to come at me in any way in the first moments that I'm awake. I will try to do that for as long as an hour and a half on days that I can, and for 20 minutes on days that I can't, but any amount is valuable. And learn to get in touch with the silence within yourself and know that everything in life has a purpose. There are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. All events are blessings given to us to learn from. That second part of that quote really ties into my word this year, which is faith. I think that if we're going to believe that all events are blessings given to us to learn from, we have to have a lot of faith to trust in that. And I don't know how we find faith without silence. I think that that is something that is so inward and so created from our heart and from the inside out, that without a silence, I don't know that we can do it. I have a theory that burnout is at an all-time high in the world right now, simply because of overstimulation. It is exhausting to have constant noise, constant news, constant feeds coming at us. And it is also really, really hard to break away from that. I hope that the YouTube channels that you found, the content that you found, if you're here, I feel like me, you've probably found creators who provide that space for you, a curated, intentional space that brings the quiet, or a reminder to find the quiet. It's the kind of content that I absolutely love on YouTube, and I call it slow tube. It's what I watch. A knitter sitting for an hour telling me about the sweater that she made. It's just perfect entertainment for me. And I hope that's what this channel will provide for you as well, is a place to have a reminder about finding some silence, about being autonomous, about the noise that you do let in, the information that you do let in. Let it be stuff that lifts you up, not brings you down. And yeah, I think that's really it. And just in that silence, we can find that faith that reminds us that all challenges that we face are given to us for a purpose, and in the time that we are able to face them. I believe that truly. And so I know a lot of people are struggling right now. There's a lot of rough things happening in this world, but we can find time to embrace the concept that we are allowed our silence and our peace, and give ourselves time to rest mentally, recover, get our wellness together, and then have a really good time with some of these practices, journaling, stickers, and other such delightful things. So that's it, babbling on. I hope you guys have a wonderful week or two. I'll be back as soon as I can. I have a couple favorite things I'd like to share with you. So we'll do that soon. And that's it. Have a great week, and thanks for being here.